Hello everybody, welcome to the Redmen TV and my reaction after Liverpool beat Burnley 1-0 at Turf Moor. Now, the positivity and the upbeatedness, which is not a word, in my voice does not reflect, I'm going to turn this way, it's a much better background, does not reflect the game of football I just watched. What it does reflect, however, is Liverpool picking up all 3 points and once again finding a way to win a game of footy that we really weren't very good in. Listen, we were the better team. Like, we dominated possession, had all the territory, all the moments really in the match, although there weren't many, but lacked a little bit of creativity, lacked a little bit of cutting edge, lacked the final touch once or twice. Yeah, I mean, credit to Burnley in terms of the way they defended. They obviously set out to do that and sort of stay in the game as long as possible. Turns out as long as possible was nigh on the entirety of the game of football. But yeah, we definitely just lacked a little bit of tempo at times, needed an injection of pace, needed injection of something, different personnel. I don't quite know how to put my finger on it and how to sum it up. There was too many off days individually, I think, as well. Some of the big players didn't really show up in the way that normally would, but ultimately all's well that ends well, and it's another 3 points. The 100% record winning start of their Premier League campaign goes on, and it's another moment to add to that AXA wall of moments. I'm thinking of taking down all this behind me and just copying, really, and just putting up alongside Mohamed Salah, Via and Gamoa, Federico Chiesa. You can now add Mo Salah's winning penalty in the final seconds at Turf Moor. But yeah, it really was a poor performance. Actually, you can't sugarcoat it, and whilst we will celebrate the victory and Mo Salah becoming the 4th highest Premier League goal scorer of all time and just setting more new records and just leading the way when it comes to footballers that have graced the Premier League in recent years, it was bad, and Mo Salah was at the forefront of just how bad it was. Really bad day at the office for him, really off his usual form, his usual self, but then steps up when it matters most and delivers the winning blow. So yeah, hard to get to grips with where Liverpool are at right now in terms of the performances, in terms of how we're playing. Obviously still integrating new players. There was no Isak today whatsoever, left out the squad entirely. I did wonder with like half an hour to go whether we might live to regret and rue that decision, albeit obviously solely, almost exclusively based around his fitness or lack thereof. But yeah, when you watch us and just that, I thought Ekitike was actually decent, and then he has to come off on 70 minutes again. Clearly not ready to play 90 yet, which is a concern. Arne Slot pointed that out. I think it was pre-international break, the fact that he hasn't managed to complete 90 yet for us. I thought his touches were nice. I thought Gakpo was okay as well. Maybe chose the wrong option once or twice in terms of whether he was overlapping or underlapping. He had people going outside him every now. He didn't choose to use them often enough, in my opinion. Kept cutting inside and trying to deliver crosses or going for goal himself. But it was just one of those days for so long. And again, Burnley, to their credit, blocked everything, threw bodies in the way of everything, put their bodies on the line for crosses and corners as well. And it just wasn't happening. And it felt like it was never going to happen until it did. There was even a moment before the goal, Via and Gamoa comes on and actually adds that injection of a little bit of creativity, a little bit of something different, bit of the X factor, which is kind of what he brings to the party. And he finds Frimpong on the opposite side of the box, takes a touch, probably didn't need to take the touch, and fires straight at the keeper. And again, it just felt like another example of one of those days, but thankfully not. In terms of talking points, starting 11 was a starting 11. Dom Szoboszlai continued right back, moved into midfield later on. There was an early yellow card for Burnley. Nasty tackle actually on next to McAllister. McAllister as well to shrug it off and carry on. It felt like his ankle really went over bad. Only makes it through to half-time, and he's changed as well. But the interesting change in the first half was Milos Kerkez getting dragged off midway through. Now, it's an interesting one, this. I think if he'd had a better start to his Liverpool career, or if he was already established as a Liverpool player, it probably wouldn't even be a conversation piece. Like, the Joel Quanta thing at Ipswich last year springs to mind, but that was actually at half-time. He managed to make it through the first 45 before he was taken off. Doing it midway through the first half is a little bit more eye-opening, I think it's fair to say. I don't think it was wholly unjustified. I thought Kerkez had a pretty dodgy first half. He was booked for diving as well, which, yeah, we can't criticise every other team player, whatever, for diving and then gloss over it when it's one of ours because it's a shocking dive. It's awful, dreadful, really, really poor, and no need for it as well. We played some lovely football in the build-up, some rare lovely football in the first half, and inexplicably decides to feign to sort of get contact and hit the deck. It's poor, it's piss poor. And then there's a moment where he commits a foul a few minutes later, and on transition, Burnley were semi-threatening, and honestly, looked like he was trying to explain that to him, trying to justify his decision when he took him off, as if to say, like, you know, they are turning us around, and maybe you might get caught at 1v1, and you've just given away a foul, so you're obviously walking a tightrope. But to come back to the original point, I feel like if he was like, again, if he'd been playing for 2-3 years, you could almost say, well, he's got credit in the bank, it's fine. But because it's Kirkes, and he has had an indifferent start to his Liverpool career, I feel like it will be focused upon more. And I don't disagree with that, by the way, because he has had a poor-ish start to his time as a Red. I think it will come, by the way. I think he's a top player who will just find his feet in a Liverpool shirt. But, yeah, the fact that Arne Slot doesn't trust him on the yellow card is a little bit alarming, and feels it a necessity, actually, to make that change halfway through the first half. I don't think is a glowing endorsement of where Milos Kirk is at right now. Let's put it like that. But again, it will be spoken about. We'll probably speak about it tomorrow. And that's my take on it for now. And I do think he looked a little bit shaky, if I'm being really, really honest. Just a bit rash sometimes, isn't he? He commits himself a bit early. Maybe he's keen to make an impression still. Who knows? I don't know. He's a very front-footed defender, clearly, who wants to put fires out quickly, and he wants to deal with things quickly, and he wants to do everything quickly. Maybe he just needs to take a second and take stock of situations a bit more. And Andy Robertson's there. I thought Andy Robertson did okay when he came on. Almost delivered the perfect assist for a goal, rather, when Chiesa comes on. Finds him pretty much free in the box, pretty much unmarked, and gets his header wrong. Wide, that was Chiesa's first touch, more or less. But yeah, Liverpool found a way. We ended up with like a front five comprising of Ngamoa, Salah, Gakpo, obviously, Wirtz up there. Though he comes off late on as well. Frimpong ends up in the front line. It was just, throw anything at it and see what stuck. And eventually cross into the box. Hannibal inexplicably turns his back to it, leaves his arm out. Nailed on penalty. Can't complain about the handball whatsoever. The fact it happens to a former Man United lad who Man United fans once hailed and praised for coming on and kicking us a bit was pretty sweet, to be honest. But yeah, in terms of overall performance, in terms of where we're at right now, it is hard to get a proper firm grasp on this Liverpool team because we're nowhere near firing all cylinders. There's so much more to come, it feels like, which is good, I guess. Won every single game, and there's still more to come. We look like we're playing in second gear a little bit, but that's not through the lack of or want of trying. Like, I say that as if we're just cruising through games. We're not. We're just not playing very well, and we're not very finely tuned, and things just aren't quite happening yet. But what is happening is we keep winning games. So, yeah, can't complain too much. So I'll wrap it up there, because I'm taking a little bit. But yeah, there's more to come, like I say, on Redmen Plus. Rating show getting done right now as I speak, plus obviously all tomorrow's podcast. So yeah, I'll see you on them. Take it easy. Up the Reds.